the homework question for this week is, that which we believe as us or belonging to us will lead to suffering in this world. Now, in this topic, what I like for people to do when they answer homework questions is to separate the question into important parts. The important part that I think is that what we believe as us, that's one topic, right? What we believe as belonging to us, that's another topic. Then it has the topic of each one of those will lead you to suffering in this world. So that's at least two major topics with the conclusion of leading you to suffering. And so before we get started, I want to give you a little background on the terms of us or belonging to us, what that means. The term us in this case refers to the Bali word atta, or the sense of self. So basically, who is Teresia? Who is Erwin? Who is Ting? Who is Geet? Who is Jason? Who is Jared? Who? Everything that you would answer is what's considered us, or I, the sense of ego, right? So like, for example, what would you say are three things that would define you right off the bat? If I were to say, Teresia, what are you? Who is Teresia? What three things would come up immediately? What do you identify yourself, define yourself as?
Erwin's wife.
1. Teresia is 1, Erwin's wife. 2.
Photographer.
Teresia is a photographer. 3.
A woman.
A woman. Good. Jason, what would you identify yourself as? 3 things.
Creative.
Creative.
Kind.
Kind.
And intelligent.
Intelligent. Erwin, how about you?
I am 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Indonesian.
Mm-hmm.
I live in the United States.
Yeah. Do you see how each person has different things that they qualify as, this is me? When you say, who am I? How about you, Mayo? What are you?
I'm Meshi.
Okay.
I'm ordained. I try to be not copy you guys. That's also me.
Yeah. So that's number 2, is Mayo is unique. That's something that Mayo definitely is that she strives to be unique. Doesn't like to follow other people. So 1, she's a Mechi, a nun. 2, she's creative and unique. 3.
3, I'm Longpa Thun follower.
The student of Longpa Thun.
Student of Longpa Thun.
So if you were to ask me, what I would say is that I'm a Thai American. I'm a half-half. I'm born here, so I have all the knowledge and understanding of an American, yet I've also studied Thai culture extensively, so I have the Thai part of me also. So I am half of both worlds. Or actually, I consider myself full both worlds. I consider myself twice, not half. Number 2, one thing that I'm very proud of is that I'm Mayo's son. And so that's one of my identities. I am Mayo's son. But recently, my newest one for me is that I'm a monk. I'm a monk. And this is my new identity. And it's a big part of my identity, right? So now when we talk about us, it actually separates into 2 major categories. Does anyone know what those categories are?
Yes.
What are they?
The physical and the sort of mentally constructed.
They call it the form or the formless, right? Which is form or nama, rupa and nama. It's the form and the formless. So now classify the things that you said about yourself into form or formless. So Teresia, what was your first one?
Erwin's wife.
You're Erwin's wife. Is that a physical thing or a mental thing?
Mental.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Erwin, what do you think? Do you think being Erwin's wife is a physical thing or a mental thing?
It's both, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Explain.
So the Erwin part, it's
The Erwin's wife part, right?
yes, the Erwin's wife part is the physical,
How so?
because without the Erwin, there is no wife. Without the wife, there is without the physical of a woman, there is nothing called wife.
Good.
Okay, but then what is the mental part of it then? What is the formless part?
The formless is the name itself, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So the word wife, or the meaning of it, or the meaning of Erwin, like the word Erwin itself is the mental part.
So Urban, what was your first name?
I am 32 years old.
Uh-huh.
Okay, is that a physical thing or is that a mental
Formless.
thing, formless thing?
I say both.
Oh yeah, how come?
Well, 32 years old, it's I can group it, like generalize it like the body.
Mhm.
I'm not a kid anymore,
Mhm.
and so and I'm not like really old, and I did like have like a birthday cake.
A physical birthday cake.
A physical birthday cake that, you know, like represent that I'm 32 years old.
Mhm. What is the Nama representation of being 32 years old?
So the Nama means so I get to act like a 32 years old. I'm not doing that some childish thing again.
Wouldn't that be a physical action though?
It's physical action.
In
But
order
the
to act a
32
certain way, that's a physical thing. But what is the emotional, mental part of it?
Yeah, the 32 things.
Like
It's
feeling
really
mature.
Mhm. The sense of feeling mature, that's not a physical thing. That's an emotional thing. That's a formless thing. Feeling mature. The feeling, you can't. There's no body to that. That's an emotion.
something that you cannot touch.
Oh, even like the feeling of being senior than the
More
one-
senior than younger people.
like yeah, you know,
Mhm.
32 years old or below, or even like the other way around, like being subordinate than the
Mhm.
older
Yeah,
one.
exactly. So Jason, how about you? Being creative, is that a form or a formless thing?
Well, it's both, because I have to see myself that way, but I have to create things, and those things are form one way or the other, be they sonic or physical. They're, you have to act upon something. It's the same way with intelligence and kindness. You can have the idea, but you have to manifest it in some way. Like, you can't be intelligent without a brain that functions correctly, or you can't be kind without people to be kind to. And if I may, I'd like to comment also on your idea of being Thai American. I have a similar situation where I'm European American, but that's also both, because like I was born here, right? But you know, I can identify as European but not like Thai, because my parents are from Europe, so I look this way. And I have like this, it's an imagined culture, but it's also the fact that I have a body that was built with genes from that part. So many of these, I'm just seeing they're all kind of both, you know? Like they have to act out in a physical way, and then you can build your conceptions of what they are on top of that.
Now, to give an example of myself, like when I say I am Mayo Sun, right? Is that a physical thing or an emotional thing? Again, we would say it's both. The physical thing is that I literally physically came out of her. Like I was born from her. So physically, like medically, scientifically, I am the literal Mayo Sun, like actual sun. However, I'm sure people like Guy or Lompinat or even Erwin or Jason might say that I feel like I'm Mayo Sun too. I wasn't born from her, but how do you feel that you might be Mayo Sun? Guy, if you were to say you feel like a child of Mayo also, why would you feel that way? You weren't born from her. You're not my actual brother, but could you say that you feel like you're Mayo Sun?
Yes,
Why?
because I've been learning from her. She's been taking care of me in terms of, you know, everything, Dhamma and so forth. Therefore, the feeling of that, I feel like I'm actually one of her sons.
And if you do something bad and she finds out, how do you feel?
Guilty.
Guilty? But if you do something that's really awesome and you succeed and you're successful, or maybe you become enlightened and she finds out, how do you feel?
Super happy.
Super proud. Do you see how the feeling magnification, because I am Mayo's son, or you are Mayo's son, or you are Mayo's daughter, when the pain comes, is it more? Yes. And when it's the happiness comes, is it more? Yes. Why? Because of what? It's in the homework question. Where does this come from? Not just the sense of self, but also the sense of belonging. Not only do you belong to Mayo, but what else?
She belongs to us.
She belongs to us, right? And that's going into the second part now, which is that which belongs to us. That which belongs to us, Long Pa likes to separate into two very clear paths. Teresia?
Worldly stuff. Yeah.
Oh, the tangible and non-tangible.
That's still form and formless
Yeah.
though.
Mhm.
Which is not wrong. I mean, that's one way to classify it. But I'm just talking about the way that Long Pa classifies it.
We'll classify like this
Is this a belonging?
and this.
And is that, for Teresia, can you raise your right hand, please? Oh, I was wrong. Left hand, please.
Yeah.
What's on your finger?
Ring.
Is that yours?
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you reach your left hand out and touch the person next to you? Is that yours?
Yes.
Is that, what is that?
So this is two.
That's
The two
two
that we're
separate
talking about.
things. Now, what's the difference between the ring on your finger and the handsome gentleman sitting to your left? What's the difference? Are they both yours?
Oh, animate and inanimate?
Yes. Long Pa likes to separate into two clear groups, which is with life or without life, or like you said, animate or inanimate, right? But yes, the animate and inanimate, those two both fall under the sense of form, and then there's the formless, right? Is that confusing? Okay, so let's give a couple examples of animate and inanimate belongings that belong to us first. These are the things that have form, right? So let's all go around the room. Teresia, one example of physical form belonging.
Physical form belonging.
Animate and then inanimate.
Cell phone.
Cell phone is
Inanimate.
inanimate belonging.
Erwin.
Erwin is
Animate.
animate belonging, right? Erwin?
This glass is inanimate,
And it's yours.
and it's mine. Yeah.
Mhm.
For now.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
Take it home.
And then myself.
Your body.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Jason?
At home, I have some books. Those are inanimate. And I also have a brother, and he's animate. And he's my brother.
Tiki?
A car, inanimate, and my dog.
ว่าแล้วเชียว
I knew he was going to say that too, right? Okay.
Bicycle.
Ting,
It's cool dog.
My bike
your bike,
and my parents.
and your parents. Jared?
Family.
Family's animate and clothes. Good. Now comes the tricky part of this equation. What is the formless that belongs to you? So we know what form is, right? So we have the sense of self, which refers to form and formless. Sense of self, physical form is the physical me, right? That's who I am, the physical part. Then there's the non-physical part, which is what I think I am, right? Then there's what belongs to this me owns stuff. We own two different types of things, right? We own physical and non-physical with no body. The physical separates into two, animate and inanimate, right? Now we're talking about the formless. What do you own that is formless? Erwin, what do you own that is formless? That has no physical form, but you own it.
My knowledge.
Your knowledge.
Yeah.
Teresia,
Ideas.
your ideas. Tiki.
A member of this temple.
Ah, that's a good one. You're a member of something. You can't really put a physical body on it, right? Ting, do you have one yet?
Thinking.
เล่นดนตรีเป็น
Playing.
Your skill in playing instruments. Jason,
My writing.
your writing. Jared?
My dignity.
Dignity, yeah. These are all conceptual things, but do they belong to you? Yes, they all do, or at least you think they do. All of the things that we have mentioned so far will all lead you to suffering in this world.
in Thai หลวงพ่อ said มีรูปเป็นฐาน
Mhm.
which is mean
The form is the foundation.
the foundation of the formless.
Formless. Formless cannot exist without the physical form. All of your mental thoughts and all your mental capacities and what you're imagining and thinking about, they all rely on some physical form to give it shape and give it substance. Right? Like for Ting to say her ability to play music, you need instruments. You need physical instruments in order to have that ability to play music. She can have a music ability, but if there's no instruments, there's no physical representation of that music, right? So, now, for each of the things that you have said, let's start with the sense of self first. So let's be categorized in our thinking. I think it's very important that we follow a linear structure when you think, so you don't get lost. So, the atta, or the sense of self, or easily saying just me. Let's list one thing that you are, and let's find suffering that comes from it. So let's start with the form, right? Physical form first. Who are you? Who are you, Teresa, physically?
A woman.
You're a woman. Okay. What suffering comes with that? Just list maybe one or two things.
Come with being a woman.
Yes.
Having periods.
Yes.
Okay. One more. Something that people might not think of. I want you to try to be unique, right? So, what's something about being a woman that most guys might not realize?
Long hair. Hey.
Kids don't have long hair.
So what's one thing that girls go through that men probably don't realize about, other than the period?
Shaving legs.
Ah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a physical suffering that women do that generally men don't do. Of course, we understand that we're generalizing, but that's the idea. Erwin, what's one physical thing that defines you? Who is Erwin physically?
The guy with the big belly.
Okay. A guy with a belly,
Yeah.
right? What kind of suffering comes from being a guy with a belly?
I cannot really eat freely, so I have to pay attention to my body.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is easily getting tired. Just fall.
Physically getting tired.
Physically getting tired. Yeah.
Very good example. Jason, who are you physically?
Well, let's be differential from everyone else here. I'm a European, of
Okay.
European descent, a white guy.
Okay.
Which,
What suffering comes with being a white guy?
well, white people are consistently made fun of, and it's usually considered okay. Like
Mhm.
there's no sensitivity toward white people necessary in our culture, because it's just,
Yes.
it's like very common, and that's not always great.
Mhm.
Kind of, it's not so great.
Tiki, who are you physically?
I'm considered I'm a cyclist, or at least I ride a bike to work back and forth every day.
What physical suffering comes from being a cyclist?
I get tired legs sometimes. It gets really cold when I ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Now let's skip to the sense of self in the non-physical, right? Ting, who are you mentally? Not physically, formlessly. Who are you?
Thai music teacher.
Okay. What kind of suffering comes from being a Thai music teacher?
Practice all the time.
Constant
Spend
practice.
Spend a lot of time.
Something like that.
Have to always be on. Like you always have to be ready to play to the best of your ability. Teresa, who are you in a sense of the mentally? Who are you?
I'm smart.
Okay. What comes with that?
I always beat myself up every time I make mistakes because
Mhm.
I don't like making mistakes.
Mm-hmm. What else? Does that ever bring you to have problems with other people?
Yes,
How so?
because I'm not always that smart.
Always comparing others.
Yeah.
Erwin, who are you?
I consider myself a kind person.
Yeah.
Suffering. One is sometimes they are close to me just because I'm a kind person and they want to use me.
You get taken advantage of.
taken advantage of, and from there also it's derived to the fact that I now easily suspect them of, oh, are they?
Now you're paranoid.
Yeah, pretty much. Paranoid is the word.
Yeah. Jason, who are you?
Adventurous.
Adventurous.
And the suffering is that it's very easy for me to feel like closed in and confined, and I don't like it. Like on like nice days, I feel like compelled to go out and do things, even if I don't necessarily want to. There's still this like compulsion to do that.
Number 2, what else? Other than that.
Sometimes I want to go do things, and I have commitments to spend time with certain people, and they don't always want to. And so then I'm either sitting there trying to convince them to do something, which isn't always great, or I'm sitting there, you know, feeling confined and but also like feeling like I have to deal with that vis-a-vis another person. So it adds a layer of complexity to it.
For me, I think I'm a leader. Being a leader, what kind of suffering comes with being a leader? Such as when your followers don't follow you. That leads to a lot of suffering. Or when you feel like you disappoint the people that rely on you. Like being a teacher or being a leader, and the people that rely on you, you feel like you're not good enough sometimes. That sense of depression or sadness or not being good enough, that comes from the idea that clinging to the concept that I am the leader, I am the teacher, I have to ... And that leads to that certain type of suffering. And there's actually many, many layers to it.
Also, what if you run into another leader and then you butt heads?
Exactly. And then you fight with other people because I'm the leader. Wait, but you're leading me? Just like in a famous story, do you guys remember the story of Sanchaya, the teacher of Sariputta and Moggallana?
Yes.
He famously missed out on his chance for enlightenment because he attached himself to the idea of, I'm a teacher. When Sariputta and Moggallana came back enlightened, they asked him, would you come with us, teacher, to go see the Buddha? There is finally a Buddha in this world after eternities of waiting. A Buddha has finally showed up in the world and he won't be here very long. Let's go see him. Sanchaya famously said, I can't. They asked him why. He said, very simply, I have been a teacher most of my life. I don't think I know how to be anyone's student. He said, don't say that. There is no one greater than a Buddha. You know that, right? Yes, I know that. Then let's go be his student. There's no shame in being the student of the greatest on earth. I can't. Once a leader, always a leader. So he was willing to die and miss out on his opportunity simply because of attaching himself to the simple concept of, I'm a leader. I'm a teacher, not a student. Right? The question that we should all ask ourselves is, how will I free myself from this attachment? Being attached to the us and the belonging to us leads us to suffering. So, what should we find out? If you find out that you're stuck in a cage, how do I get out? If you find out that this is not good, you wonder, how do I get out of this? Right? When you buy something and from Best Buy and it's broken, what's the first thing you ask yourself?
Can I return it?
Can I return it? Will they take it? Right? How do we no longer cling to the sense of self or the belongings?
Things that I believe I enjoy. Like anytime I'm doing something that seems fun, just take a time out and just pause and just think like, okay, so where's the suffering in this? Where could it lead? And I think just doing that over and over all the time will eventually sort of force my mind to accept it. Telling yourself once, I find when I was teaching, when I told my students something once, it never sunk in. I had to do it over and over again in very different ways and in very different circumstances. And I think the trick is really just consistency and just reminding and using that sort of yardstick, if you will, of suffering to just constantly fix one's perception or my perception of something as it's going on just over time.
It's a very good idea because naturally as human beings with a physical body, we have a natural way of preventing us from getting hurt, which is what?
Denial.
The sense of pain, the physical sense of pain. How does that teach you? Well, if you do this certain thing and it hurts, what does that tell your body to do? Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Don't do it again, right? You touch something hot, do you keep doing that? No. If you get cut by something sharp, do you do it again? You try not to. Why? The reason is because your body's telling you that this is painful. This is not something that's fun, right? The same thing for when you practice. The only difference is that we've told ourselves that love is fun. Food is fun. Singing, dancing is fun.
Social.
And because of these things, we are attached to them because we're attached to the fun part, right? I think for me, one of the most obvious examples is when you first start dating someone. It's such a funny dichotomy to me where it's so extreme. When you first start dating someone, everything you hear is a positive adjective or adverb, right? They're so beautiful, so cute. Think about it. When you first fall in love with someone, what's a word that you use to describe them? Just throw out one. When you fall in love with someone, has it been that long? Erwin, what's a word you describe someone you love in the beginning?
Cute and pretty.
So cute, so pretty.
At times magical.
Magical.
In the right circumstances.
Gentle. Ting. Nice. Teresa? Nice.
Okay.
She talking about you?
I love that idea. And she proves my point right here where she says, I don't remember. I don't even remember what I was thinking back then. Right? But now, after you fall out of love with someone, and I'm not talking about husband and wife here, but even past boyfriends, past girlfriends, what's a word that you would use to describe them after you've dated them for a while?
What do you mean?
Well, when you first fall in love with someone, you use the words you said. Nice, caring, sensitive, generous, beautiful, cute. But after you fall out of love and you want to break up with them, what are the words you use to describe them?
What was I thinking?
Okay. Erwin?
You are always like that.
Always like that.
Jason?
Oh, stifling, insecure,
Yeah.
annoying. I could go on.
Yeah. Tiki?
Selfish.
I love that one. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I don't remember you being so selfish.
Yeah.
Right? Tiki?
Annoying.
Annoying. That's another strong one, right?
Imaginary.
You make up your own things, right? You're very biased, unfair. The list goes on. But this is the thing, is that whatever they are, they have been these things from the beginning. And so if you choose to look at the good, what do? You date them, you marry them, you move into a house with them, you set up your life with them. But if you were to see the real side of it, what comes with it, it would save you a lot of time and suffering.
What about the possibility that, and I don't know what your experience has been, but when you first meet someone, sometimes they hide their own negative things. You know what I mean? Like when you first meet someone you want to impress, you don't necessarily be your old selfish self. You know what I mean? Like people can, sometimes it takes a while to discover that kind of thing.
However, this is something that Mayo has taught us a lot of, which is that there are no secrets in this world. So no matter how much you show us your good side, that good side itself has its own drawbacks. Sometimes people fall in love with people because they're so confident, because they're so just funny and so outgoing and social. It's just so cool. I'd want to be around this person a lot. You don't have to wait for the evil side. Even the good things have negative consequences. If this guy or girl is so popular, so well loved by society, you better be ready to share them. You can't just fall in love and then take them and put them in a corner. I remember someone who I knew very well met this girl who was so beautiful, and he fell in love with her because she was literally, to him, the most beautiful woman he has ever seen. He loved the way she dressed. It was so provocative and interesting and just so cool. But after they started dating, hey, you need to wear like looser shirts. You need to not wear so much makeup. You need to not dress up so sexy. I don't want other people looking at you. And so it turned out that all the things that you fell in love with were the very things you're trying to prevent other people from looking at, other people from stealing. That is such a major suffering. When you walk on the street, before, everyone looks at the girl. You look too. Let's all look at her. But when she's your girlfriend, hey, stop looking at her. Are you looking at my girlfriend? Don't look. That's mine. Don't look. You can't look at her. Right? And that's where it comes from. Even the good that they have has suffering attached to it too. And we're not trying to say that everything in the world is evil. Everything in the world is bad. But if you know that it's not going to turn out very well for you, most likely the intelligent you would not take that chance. Right?